You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad that human beings have the right that they can exercise by choice the God that they are familiar with. I am so excited about the God that I am familiar with. The God that I am familiar with is a big ball of love, responsible for me and all that I am, and you and all that you are, and has prepared that our dreams will not be dreams continuously, but in our choosing, they become reality. I feel so good, ladies and gentlemen. And then I think about those who believe in God to the degree that right now they have armaments, they got guns, they got bombs, and they are bombing buildings where people live. They are bombing hospitals where people get health care. They are bombing schools where people get training, education training. They are bombing houses. They are bombing old people. They are bombing children and everybody. And their God says it's okay. And the world sees their God. And then they're trying to get people to trust their God and making God something that you can choose on either side. And I'm thinking about when I see wars going on, that's the point in time when they say you can't work it out anymore. That's when you put all of your faith in what you have the ability to do, in your guns. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I think about all of the people in America who are Christians. And I know Christians are on the side of Republicans and on the side of Democrats. And to either of these, they're the devil, they're demonic to the people. That means that whoever you are, you're failing. And no one can see a desire to even champion something that's bigger and better than what we have. In fact, they've decided to go to the lowest low. They want to go to hell, literally in hell, where only an individual runs the show. And that individual claims this whole thing then as his heaven or her heaven. And all of the people being to the rules, because if you don't, you'll be killed. And that makes me think, ladies and gentlemen, that the one determining factor about who you are, about who you really are, is how you stand that test in time. I can see God saying that people of God are not afraid of death. They know that God made them. They know that God prepares for them, protects them. And if you ever get into a situation and it seems that there's no way out, don't worry about it. God will get you out. Now that might be asking for a lot, because it's asking people, when you get challenged, when your righteousness gets challenged, and they are willing to do things to harm you, to hurt you, to belittle you, just to force you to conform, it empowers you to resist even more. Even more. Even if it means, and I've said this before, I want to make sure I say it again, even if it means you have to spend the rest of your life in prison, even if it means they're going to cut your head off, if you're right, then your righteousness, you're letting them cut your head off, you're spending time in prison, all your life in prison, says to the world that this God is real, that this God is worth everything that's happening. And what you're doing, you're representing the people. You're representing God for the people. So the people can know that God protects them, that God cares for them, and that God would not turn the blessings from them, even if it meant that he was in prison for the rest of his life, or even if he got his head cut off. But at the same time, it's telling you that that which you've conformed to, that you've given your life to does not care about you at all. Does not. And that's the picture. And this is so you can have an understanding of what it means. The oneness of God. You know, I think about what people say about Jesus. They say, a lot of people say today that that was a make-up story or it was in line with other stories. I personally don't care. All I know is this. It was a wonderful story. I think about all the hero stories that I've read about or heard about or watched movies about. But this particular story about a way of life that lifted this doer up to the status of God. And what was it? It was love. And to me, there is no greater love than everybody's dream coming true. There's no greater love than not standing in the way of that. There's no greater love than if you see somebody standing in the way, then explain to them that they are in the way in such a way that it will move them out of the way, and it will, at the same time, those that are blocked can go around or over or enter into the kingdom. So I heard somebody talking about the Jew, that the Jew really want to say that they are children of God. And I say, personally, as far as I can see it, God is responsible for all our existence. But the thing that made it so wonderful that God gave us a choice to choose who we want to be, what we want to be, and all that other kind of stuff, even though we have the power to shape it. And when we know the truth, we will walk according to the truth, maybe. But if we do, we'll have the benefits of the truth. Or we can go the other way. Now, make a long story short. Today, the way the world is, it looks like evil is running the show. But evil is not. It's trying to. But there is enough goodness that's holding on. Excuse me. There's enough goodness that will not let it break. It'll bend, but it won't break. And that being the case, I say to you, what role will you play? Really, seriously, what role will you play? How many of you love and have a relationship with God to the extent that you're willing to lay down your life for what is right? I mean, I'm not talking about defend yourself. Defend yourself. Let me tell you something about truth. Truth is like this. Truth knows the freedom that it has, and it's wonderful. But people will sell out the freedom for another meal, another act of sex. I mean, hey, the end is already set from the beginning. It's going to occur. In other words, you're going to die. But to be able to control, to be able to go out on a cloud. And what is a cloud? A cloud is riding a cloud of righteousness. And what is a cloud of righteousness? A cloud of righteousness knowing is that when you're selling out and people are looking at you as you're selling out, nobody can condemn you. And you can look back at them, not feeling any guilt. You ain't hurt nobody. All you've done was spoke and stood for the truth. And you've done the best you could because you love them. And you can say goodbye and hope that there's someone there that got the message and keep it flowing. But hey, to me, that's it. That's it. The devil can't stand. You can't look at it like this. You heard me what I've just got through saying. Now let's look at it like this. Donald Trump has said, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. That's Jesus, ain't it? I'm gonna get you. Well, some people have explained God like that. I'm going to get you. I'm going to punish you, send you in hell for the rest of your life. God didn't say that. That's a trick. You go to hell because you want to go to hell. You choose to go to hell. You diss God. You got your reasons. God ain't going to make you, but he puts you in a situation where the opportunity is always there for truth. I guess I'll stop it here. Goodbye.